So Blizzard has promised that in Shadowlands you will be able to go from level 10 to level 50 in a single expansion of your choice. In light of this improved leveling experience, I think it's time to count down my top 5 expansions to level in, so when the time comes, you can pick the best. Of course, when I say the best, I mean to me personally. You could disagree with me. You might have an entirely different opinion, which if you do, you can leave that in the comment section down below. But without further ado, let's start at number 5, Cataclysm. Cata is on the list because it gave us the much needed update to the Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor. Now up until very recently I lost my appreciation for the Cataclysm experience, but in order to get my Zandalari to level cap I had to re-experience many of the old zones, and I can say they still hold up. They're still great. Every zone boils into the next, and it really shows you how widespread the First Alliance Horde War really was compared to BFA. All in all, if you don't really care where you level, I would pick this one. Number 4, Pandaria. Man, I love Pandaria. I love Miss the Pandaria. It is easily in my top 3 expansions for the entire game. But back in MoP, I didn't do much in-game content. I did LFR, I did some dungeons, but nothing too big and nothing too meaty. Instead, I leveled so many characters to 90, and every time I got to Pandaria, I loved it. Every zone is unique. The atmosphere is great. The characters, the plots, the stories, it's all amazing. Go level in it and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a completely different experience outside of everything else in the game. Number 3, Warlords of Draenor. Now, WoD might not be the greatest expansion if you could even count it as one, but its leveling was incredible. It changed the core fundamentals of leveling in retail. You had bonus objectives, better dialogue, more in-depth quest chains, cutscenes, upgradable gear, etc., etc. Plus, it's still really fast to level through if you focused on just the bonus objectives, but I'm going to assume that with the release of Shadowlands, power leveling WoD will eventually go away. Number 2, Legion. Now this one, it was almost number 1, and it was almost number 1 because Legion took what WoD did for questing and made it 100 times better than anything in the past. This time around you could pick any zone you wanted to start in. There were bonus objectives built into the areas you went through. No more did you have an access of destroy this, kill that quest, because the bonus objectives basically did it for you. Then you had the atmosphere of each zone, which, let me just say, every single zone in Legion is gorgeous. They are gorgeous places, and they still hold up today. But let's not forget to mention the Broken Shore scenario, which is an incredible introduction to the expansion. And then you had the Order Halls, which are just, man, there is nothing as cool as the Order Hall class intros. Every one I've done, I loved it. Legion is incredible, and if it wasn't for number 1, it would be number 1. But before we get into my all-time favorite expansion to level in, I want to do an honorable mention because I love the leveling, but it technically isn't an expansion. And of course, that would be Vanilla, which is so open-ended that it has this unique feel that WoW doesn't have anymore. Everything feels different, and I'm not just saying that because it was updated in Cataclysm. Everything is slow. The pacing is chill, every encounter is scary, you need food, you need water, you need wits to deal with certain situations. It's so good, and it's so different than what we have today. Seriously, if you haven't, go play Classic, and you'll see what I mean. But with that out of the way, okay, it's time. It's time. Number 1, Wrath of the Lich King. Man, do I love me some Wrath. I love the zones, the atmosphere, the style of the expansion, and the leveling was just, it was incredible. You see, Wrath was the border between how old WoW worked and the progress needed to make WoW what it is today, especially for the leveling. No more did you have to search for quests, because as soon as you got to a zone, there was a narrative, and that narrative would drive you forward and into the zone deeper and deeper while leaving it open-ended enough for you to go elsewhere if you really wanted to. Plus, it was the first expansion to start doing post-quest phases with stuff like the Wrathgate, as well as having 2 distinct and wildly different starting zones that told separate stories with the same goal in mind. Really, if I had to describe Wrath of the Lich King to someone, I would say it was the refinement process that led to every other expansion on this list. It had the old, but it also had the new, and that's why I love it so much. But of course, that's my opinion. Maybe you think different. Maybe you believe Wrath is not the best expansion. Maybe you think BFA or Cataclysm or the Burning Crusade or maybe even WoD holds that honor. You can leave your thoughts, as well as all questions, comments, or concerns regarding this video, Warcraft, or its lore, in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to read each and every one of them. Thanks for watching.